What more can I say? I think is like most songs on Trixies, a sort of fever dream of things that I was listening to at that time. And this is the only record, I think, that Squeeze has ever done that has been concentrated in such a narrow band of influences between music that came out in 72 and 74. What more can I say is very definitely influenced by Stevie Wonder. I was listening to a lot of Stevie Wonder then. You can hear by the chord progressions that I'm into, just seeing where it could go, and there's a sort of magic that Stevie Wonder had, still has now, but had then, that just set my soul on fire.
You get the feeling.
The story behind You Get the Feeling, for me, I think the story is yet to be told, like most of the songs on the album. I've been currently writing about the characters and about the songs because it's been such a long time I've forgotten what it's all about. But You Get the Feeling, the thing that I love the most about it is the performance and Glenn's vocal, which is extremely brilliant.
It's a paradise, a background for two lovers.
It's a song on stage where I think it just says so much about us as a band that we can lean in that direction and then the next minute lean in the other direction of, say, a song like Hourglass.
Place We Call Mars is very definitely influenced by Ken Dodd sort of song, David Bowie song actually, Life on Mars. Although it's actually nothing like Life on Mars, it has the air of it, the essence of it. But I'd say even more chord changes. I say that not proudly, but I am fond of a chord change, and some of these ones are my most fondest.
To tell, the story was so hard to tell.
Hell on Earth is most definitely pinned to the music of Sparks, which influenced a couple of tracks on Trixies. And the sound of the song is also very firmly pinned to an RMI piano. You may get a cutaway of a shot of the RMI piano in there. And it was also the first electric piano we had. It was the first time we could hear Jules play. So he'd been playing on acoustic pianos and we'd all be 5 times the volume of him. And so we'd never hear what he was up to until we got the RMI piano. The Dancer is very much a Chris Difford song. He wrote that before I met him, and it encapsulates his influence, I think. He came from a slightly different world musically to me. He was very much into the Velvet Underground. He introduced me to the Velvet Underground, and I think you can hear in the song, it's a 2-chord song, but it has an intensity about it that is very different for us. And lyrically, it's such a beautifully told story of a place that is both fascinating and ugly.
Good Riddance is one of those songs and one of those lyrics that is a sort of good night song in a way. It's kind of like we're closing the door, club's done, we're folding up the tablecloths, we're putting the speakers away, cleaning the bar. You know, it's kind of like the end of the day song to me, and it's beautifully put together.
Don't Go Out in the Dark is very, very much influenced by Paul McCartney. It's very much influenced by the sound of Let Me Roll It, although the writing of the song was not. It's the only song on the record where it had a ridiculous chord sequence. Could I share that with you? It's honestly... The taxi drew up at the Chelsea Mews in the cruel and wintry fog. I mean, it's just horrible. But so we kept the vocal tune and put different chords behind it, and the feel was always the same. It just, that, out of all the songs, that's the only one musically we really changed, and it became something heavier and I think more satisfying. See what you think.
Why don't you? Well, this is another sexy song, isn't it? My God, I love this song so much.
Why don't you scratch me?
There was a part of my imagination in those days that sort of leant towards the kind of suburban sexual content of a nightclub being there. I mean, I remember going to my first striptease pub and being shocked at a woman taking her clothes off dancing to Gilbert O'Sullivan. A lot of that interpretation, I suppose, that kind of feeling in this kind of lyric. May sound bizarre, and I'm sorry that it does, but it is.
Anything But Me wears its influence on its sleeve, and the influence for this is definitely Roxy music. It's unlike anything I think I had written before or since. Very much pinned to the narrative, Chris's narrative, but the music sounds lonely and lost. And that's not a sound I go for very often.
It's Over is a song, again, the end of the evening song. It's a love song, it's a torch song, something that I wrote, actually, I found the other day, a pay packet from my work that I was doing at the time, and the title and the first few lines were written on the pay packet, so that's where it came from. And that pay packet has turned into me sitting here. The story behind the Jaguars, for me, is they're the band that play in the club in Trixies, and they're trying very hard to entertain people, but they're bored, and the people in Trixies are not really interested in the band. Trixie has got a friend who is going to become their manager and make them huge, make them like The Who or Led Zeppelin, let's say. And they just play there 3 times a week in the club, and they play cover songs, and they play songs from this album, strangely enough. And eventually they get management, and the rest is rock and roll history. Trixie's Part 1 I always thought would be at the beginning of the album, not at the end, but it's at the beginning of the play for me, and it really does introduce the characters, I think, beautifully, and it gets you through the front door, through into the club, and it gives you that sort of scary, warm feeling of what that might be.
And his gloves were velvet red.
Trixie's Part 2 is, I think, the only example of the music being influenced by, it was influenced by a John Lennon track. That in turn was very influenced by a rock and roll music of the 50s. So I got the influence second hand, but you can hear in the fact that it's almost a swing song rather than a rock and roll song, but it has that sort of descending chorus, which was not only common in songs like Woman is of the World, which was a John Lennon song, but in something like All the Young Dudes, there's that descending thing, which is very tempting musically to play about with, great for harmonies. It was going to be, one of the opening tracks, but it was Owen's decision to put it at the end of the record, and somehow it was such a genius move. It sums up the whole record for me.
People who carry something lethal. Trixies is a guy.